You got it.
Welcome to another movie. As you can see, this time we have a small 1/18/7 scale car. Wait, did I just review this? Yes, I did buy another one just to have that parts, because most of the parts are not super cheap and it's hard to find one part. That's why I buy the second set, just to have all the other parts. So I want to today show you. Wait, is the car in here? Yes, the car is in here. I want to show you what I did already. Let me take it out. Here is most of the car, because the body is in here, and I want to show you my struggle so far. Maybe I put it in here, it will be much better. Yes, that's much better. So here is what I've done so far, and I will tell you what problems I did find and stuff like that. So I did buy a the desk drill, this drill stand, I think that's called, the giant drill that you can use the handle to drill straight, but actually you don't need that. Unless I was using a drill holding the axle and just sanding down the edges on the end. That's really helping to get the gears and all the other parts to sit in, to get inside straight, and that was the first problem that I did make on the first set, where I destroy or just not put the axle straight in the hole, and that was the problem, that I was not able to make it. And now this solution fixed the problem, and that's where I'm now. So all the gears are inside, all the axle are assembled. As you can see, I also have the electronic. Let me try to focus it. Let me see, this is the receiver for the radio, but as you may see in here, let me try to focus, as you may see in this spot, I don't have the antenna. I did not get the antenna with this thing. There should be a small something like a capacitor or resistor, and I did not get this part, and I don't want to turn it on until I get the antenna, and that's the biggest one of the two biggest, maybe three biggest problems in this moment, because I will need to make get a wire and just make antenna from the wire, and that wire need to have a specific length just to work right and have a full range. The second electronic in here is the ESC. I don't know what this. Oh, it's for the battery. I was thinking why there's a cable loose. That's connection for the battery. I just did not finish it because I don't have the antenna, and I still can't turn it on. The new servo, this one, I think I upgraded the link. You will have the link in the description. This servo is the proper servo for this car. It's not so long, because on the other one there was sticking motor outside and it was not fitting inside. This one is the right servo for the set. It's fit inside perfectly, and that's this part done. The electronic is connected. When I will test this, I will post a connection diagram or a movie where a guy show this connection diagram for this thing, and you will see how to connect everything. I don't want to do that now because I'm not sure if it's everything working, so I don't want to get any problems. As you can see, let me try to oh, come on, it's hard to focus because it's so small. it's very tiny. This thing is very hard to solder. Yes, here we go now. And I did, it took me about 2 hours to solder it with the smallest, finest soldering pin, the tip that I did have, and that was a pain to solder, but I did solder it. Those are the smallest wires that I have, and it's working. It should work fine. I have no idea if it's working. So no pictures on the internet showing it with the servo, so it's very hard to see what goes where. So I will try to show as much as I can, so you can see what goes where. It was a problem to assemble this, no, mostly this one and this axle, sorry, but it's good to get 1mm drill bit and just with the counterclockwise rotation just sand down the axles inside to get the smooth rotation. And on the tip there was, I think, 5mm drill bit, but I don't remember that one. In here the same thing. It's good to sand it down with the drill. That's helped a lot with this car, because the front axle is a pain to assemble. It's so much part that it's getting stuck on everything almost, on the gearbox inside, on those parts, on the dog bones. I don't know, there was multi-joint connection, I think that's called. Sorry, I don't remember the name now. So that was a problem. I needed to file down this this joint and the outside, the inside of the axle, to get it inside, and that worked fine. As you may, I don't know if you can see it, there is a V shape in here, exactly in here. This thing is to set the wheels straight. They are maybe not fully straight, but it's as much as I can. And now what was the problem? Problem is that I cannot connect the servo to the wheels. I have completely no idea how to do it. I did try a few connection rods with the wires that they give me for it, and there was no good way to connect it. I did make two wheel shaped connectors for it, and that didn't work. It was so loose that it was not working. Probably I will put a 1mm screw in here just to get the servo to the front, and then I can connect it to it, because this thing is moving down and down on both sides, and this thing is moving forward, so it needs to have many connections to work. Probably that's really hard to make compared to any other models, so I did stuck with this. As you may already see, I did also stuck with this down springs. They falling out like crazy. On the back I don't have so much problem, as you can see, but when the axle get bent really hard, it will fall out. On the front is more disaster, because this axle in here is a bit too long. It's really hard to now fix that problem, so I just leave it like this, but I won't need to find any other solution for this. And I did no wait, I found that spring again, but take care with the springs, because they really are small and springy, and they will shoot out when you try to put it inside, and just forget to find it because they are so small. So the servo is a problem, the spring is a problem, and my antenna missing is another problem. This is not so big problem, because I just can, sorry, it's on this side, I just can solder wire with a specific length. I think that's 12 millimeters point something, if I remember. I need to check that, but it will be really long antenna for this car, but I have no other solution for this. Everything else is actually working. I still don't have the switch. I have this small switch, but as you can see, it's really big for this car, but I may not have any other ones. I did find some micro or maybe nano switches, but I will need to order that. I have the spare springs in here, some other stuff, and another full car in parts, where most parts are working, but I will probably just make static car just to companion this for some pictures. In this moment it's sitting because I need to think out how to connect this down servo to the wheels, and what other solution to make with this down springs, because this thing is a disaster to put inside. As you can see, I'm trying now, but I will leave it because it will shut out, and this is why it's so low rider on the front. It's looking like a buggy or something like that. Sorry, I cannot show how I did it because there is no instruction for it, and I'm making some mistakes in it, and I don't want to show that because this thing took me about 3 days to assemble, and that will be a really long movie. I will post 2 movies in the description that will help you with how to assemble it, of course all the parts also. And this thing is really amazing, how small it is, but it's quite hard to assemble. It's from a little more advanced DI people, because it will need some skills to, like the soldering. It's amazingly small, and that's amazingly annoying to solder. It is fun kit to assemble, so I can tell you already, don't make the same mistakes like I just sand down the tip of the axles down, and you can then use the hammer. That's helping a lot to not destroy this axle, and that on the second kit helped me to just work this car with this car and just assemble it. So actually that's all I can tell you. Some parts are glued, like the gears. I think on the front one of the joint is glued, and the joints are also pain to assemble because they are so small. So watch those movies. There are 2 guys that assembled this. It's not the same model, so some parts will not be the same, but they show how they assemble it. I did break the rear axle. This gear on the back was too loose, so I replaced it with the second kit. I destroy, I think, one joint on the front wheel and one gear from the axle, so there are about 4 parts that I destroy just because there are no instruction. I really want to get this done. Someone asked about the lights. Will I show it? Probably I will not be able, because again that will probably last about 3 days to maybe 2 or 3 days to get the lights working and to look quite nice. In the scale, any DI is really hard because how small it is. I'm doing what I can, but in this case I can only show you what I've done and how everything is looking, and I'm not able to show you how I'm doing it. But there are 2 quite good tutorials where 2 guys showing how everything is assembled, how they do it and stuff like that, and that's really helpful because I could see what everything goes, but they just don't file down the axles I did, and that that's the most important tip in this moment, to file down the ages. Okay, so sorry, but that's all I can show you now, and I'm not able to show anything else in this moment. I will work on this probably, maybe in this year I will try to finish this car, because I really want to see how it's working, but probably the front axle will be a pain for this motor to work, because it's generating some force for the axles. But even with that, I really want to see this thing working. It will probably still set in the box, but I really want to have so small car, because that's one of the smallest car in on the market you can get, but it's the only smallest DI kit you can get probably. Of course there are more 1/18/7 scale RC cars, but not a crawler with the 4x4 wheels, as far as I can understand. I may be wrong, but I think that's the only one. Okay, so that's all for now. Links are in the description, and see you in the next movie.